What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Underdog Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan Skeen, alongside Antonio Fiore, Salestrino. Gentlemen, how we doing?
What's up, guys?
I hate your shirt.
I love your shirt.
Thank you.
It's a sweatshirt, whatever. What? Kentucky?
Yeah, no, fuck Kentucky.
Who's he a fan of?
Auburn?
Who am I? I'm not an Auburn fan. I just hate Kentucky.
No, but obviously if you like Auburn, you don't like Kentucky.
I've just hated Kentucky my entire college basketball fandom life.
Auburn hates Kentucky? I thought they hated Auburn.
Oh, it is SEC.
Well, they hate...
for basketball, I root
every
for
SEC team hates
yeah,
every
for
other
basketball, I
SEC team.
root for UConn first, but like I have my team, other teams that I like. I just despise Kentucky and I despise Calipari.
You root for UConn over Auburn?
Yeah.
Why?
For basketball?
But you love Auburn football.
I do.
Yeah, that's kind of lame. I don't like that.
I mean, what are you going to do, root for UConn football? Are you really going to root for UConn football?
No, but he should root for Auburn basketball.
I'm not an Auburn fan.
But are you really going to root for Auburn
So
basketball?
what are you? You're a UConn fan?
No, I just like college basketball. I mean, obviously, I grew up watching UConn, so
what is
going to be my team first.
So what is the Auburn?
I just have like a weird way with college sports.
I don't even know how to respond.
I don't know how to like explain it either because there was that one point.
Antonio
where
always has these takes.
But you like
there was that one point where I loved like Florida. I still root for Florida.
But you liked Auburn more than like just liking them though. Like,
yeah,
you're an active fan in Auburn.
Yeah, I root for them.
Okay.
of just football.
But if they were playing UConn in basketball, I'd go UConn. Absolutely.
What if Auburn was playing UConn in football and UConn was actually good?
UConn's not good.
I'm saying in a hypothetical world.
I don't know. That's just a weird.
What about college rugby? Do you like UConn or Auburn?
UConn probably has a better rugby team than Auburn does because those Southerners be like, "What the hell is that? You know, weird European
But
shit."
Auburn has like 2 times the kids that UConn does. Definitely, Auburn's a way bigger school.
I don't know. UConn
UConn's a pretty big school.
You think so?
Come on, UConn. Someone there's good at rugby.
Okay, but you can't like count out Auburn though.
Nah, but like if you're on Auburn, you're not trying to play rugby. Like someone at UConn's definitely like, I'm a rugby player.
I'll give you that one.
It's because those Northerners are weird.
Seriously. Anyway,
NFL draft.
That's a good start.
NFL draft. How we feel about it? Was it a good draft? Online format. Goodell in his lounging chair.
So we had a little group message going when it started, and we were pretty bored after 4 minutes in, 5 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, it went exactly how you would expect a draft to go. There was no excitement, no.
They take pretty much all the time that they have for that clock.
We didn't really notice that until it started going.
Ready? If you have how many months since the NFL season stopped to have the number 1 pick, you're really telling me you want the 10 extra minutes to take the pick. I don't care if the NFL tells you to do that. I don't care if it's for ratings. You're going to sit there being on the board for 5 months and take 10 minutes to make your pick.
Like, before you do it, let us talk about Joe.
But
then they talked about him for 10 minutes after.
Yes, I was just going to say that. They talked about him for 10 minutes before, and then they talked about him for 10 minutes after. It's like...
No, I get what you're saying. Like, it's so... I get that they're trying to fill the time. They got to get their ads in, but it's like, come on. There's no pageantry involved because everyone's in their living room. And, like, you know who they're going to pick because they show it beforehand. They're like, oh, the Dolphins have the 5th pick. Here comes... They show somebody in their living room, and like you know that's who they're going to pick.
Well, the worst is, like, they'll be on their phone. So it's like the Tua pick, Tua was on his phone. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you know Brian Flores called him and was like, yeah.
Miami was on the clock, and Miami, as soon as they were, or like a couple minutes in on the clock, they flipped to Tua, and Tua was on the phone.
But the picks ahead of time are also calling their guys, saying, "Yeah, we're picking you in the first round." They know beforehand who they're picking.
I just wish it was ran a little bit more entertainingly. Like I don't know how you would do that.
I was gonna say I'm not sure how they would figure that out. But,
I feel like the whole Vegas thing would have.
Okay,
that would have been great.
All right, I have to give them a little credit. This is a pandemic, and it was online. It wasn't what they intended. So NFL fair play, but at the same time,
that Vegas thing would have been extravagant.
Well, we want to see people fall off the boat, driving up to the stage.
I feel like they'll still do that next year.
I would love to see it.
No, they
already
announced the
they're
draft.
in Cleveland next year.
They can't just push it off a year.
No,
they didn't. It's like May 1st.
Well, it's like the Super Bowl. Like, say the Super Bowl got canceled, they would just move on to the next year's stadium. They wouldn't like push everyone back a year, most likely.
Yeah, but like that's something that was
not
like
go down well with that.
It was gonna be so special because it was such a good draft class. Like they had it all set up.
They're saying next year's is also supposed to be ridiculous,
and
they're gonna have it in Cleveland.
Yeah, pretty lame, right? I don't know. Having it in Vegas and then having this be the first year of the Vegas Raiders, that also would have been pretty cool.
That also played into it.
Speaking of that,
the Raiders,
the Vegas Raiders, my favorite pick of the first round.
Oh, you like
Henry Ruggs
Henrietta.
And I have a friend who's a Raiders fan actually, and I said I'm surprised that they took him, but I think that's a great pick.
I was too. He's gonna be. And all these receivers, I think, in the first round, I think got.
I don't think that's what they needed though in the first round.
They needed a receiver. They need
Terrell
defense.
Williams is good, but
they
need another young guy in there.
They need defensive help, but like who on that offense is like a game changer? Like yes, Josh Jacobs, but Darren Waller's not moving the needle. Like Darren Waller had a good season, but he's not like gonna put you over the top. Tyrell Williams is not putting you over the top. And then after that, they have nobody.
They have a good young offense though that can, within 2-3 years. Has a really good shot to be one of the best.
They're in perfect position to draft a quarterback.
Yes, they are.
And build around a rookie quarterback. And that's no disrespect to Derek Carr, but at the same time, like, he's just not what they need at this point. Like, he's a good quarterback, but I think they're going to go young after this year. I think he gets one more year and then he's done.
Maybe that's where Lawrence ends up going.
I think he'll prove himself this year. I think Derek Carr has like a really good year.
The problem is you'll have to pay him, and at that point, why wouldn't you just draft a rookie instead if he could be? As good?
Yeah, I think it'll put the Raiders in a tough decision, but I think he'll bounce back this year. I mean, last year he had a good season. They just weren't what they were supposed to be. And I think everyone knew that coming into the season that they weren't going to be anything special after losing Antonio Brown.
I feel like he just plays very conservatively. Like he's just one of those quarterbacks that will take.
It's a part of the offense too.
But then again, he had that 1 year where like he was probably going to win MVP until he
got hurt.
And that's when he was taking shots down the field like no one else.
That year.
That year the Raiders were.
And then after that, he just kind of like.
I'm pissed that like he broke his leg.
Yeah, that sucked. And
in the game, like it was like on TV and everything on the freaking.
And they got hammered by a 9-7 Houston team with God knows, yeah.
Someone. Anyway,
Connor Cook got blasted that game. It was ugly.
I think it was a great pick, only in the sense that hey, who just won the Super Bowl? Kansas City Chiefs, and who's their best wide receiver? Tyreek Hill. What does Tyreek Hill do better than any other player on the field? It takes the top off the defense, and you have to adjust if he's on the field. You have to defend the field a different way. It's like Steph Curry in basketball. Like
so, you got to expect that they might want to stretch out the field this coming year.
Well, they brought in Marcus Mariota, and one thing I'll give Marcus Mariota is he will push the ball down the field occasionally when the situation gives it to him. So if Henry Ruggs just comes out and has a baller year, maybe they have a good season. And they drafted they really reached with their second pick. They drafted the opposite corner of Okuda on Ohio State. I forget what his name is, but he wasn't supposed to go until later.
But yeah, Ohio State produces defensive backs like no other, so that guy's probably gonna pan out.
So
and it being a decent player.
I think of all the picks that intrigued me the most, I think they probably were number one.
What about you, Antonio? What pick intrigued you the most?
Oh, I could not believe Jerry Jeudy fell to the Broncos, man.
That was a good pick for them. And they were talking all week about trading up too for them.
That team's got a good and that's like the Raiders. That AFC West in like 2 years, that's gonna be nuts. With the way Vegas, if their young offense and if they get like that younger quarterback to throw right in there, they got a shot to be great. Denver, I think next year could be.
Listen.
So we're not adding the extra regular season game yet, but we are adding the extra playoff spot. I could see Denver getting in there. They got Cortland Sutton's in his third year. He was
a Pro Bowler last year.
Yeah, he was 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and that's with a quarterback. Case Keenum was in their first part of the year. Then they had someone else, and when they brought
Case Keenum is so bad.
Yeah, and then when they brought in Drew Lock, he was a stud. I think he's going to be really good, and you're going to give him Cortland Sutton. Now you got Jerry Jeudy, and they drafted another wide receiver too.
Did they? Can I interest anyone in Drew Lock? 150-1 MVP odds. Anyone?
I'm not taking.
I'm good, but he's going to have a good season.
I'm not saying in a real life like bet money on it, but like.
I mean, I probably would.
I would say that's good value for an up-and-coming team where he has 2 really good wide receivers.
I mean, we say it every week, but second-year quarterbacks are winning MVP for like the past 3 years.
So on a team that's up-and-coming with I'm not going to say the star power, but he has really good receivers around him.
Yeah, with Cortland Sutton,
Melvin Gordon in the backfield to take away some pressure.
And they still got Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. They got some names in the backfield.
I like that team. Not sure
they could just block a little bit. Not even like their offensive line doesn't need to be like elite level for them to have a great offense next year. That receiving core is going to tear it up, and I think Cortland Sutton's just going to keep getting
still
better.
Wondering what happened to their defense.
It got old, and they just kind of traded.
They kind of just withered out.
I don't know. Yeah,
like I keep saying this, but Von Miller still exists, right?
Yeah,
he had a very quiet season last year. But then again, if you're playing on a team that goes 5-11 or 6-10 or whatever they went, it's like you can't really move the needle that much if you're the only one rushing the passer on that team.
I still can't believe like Peyton Manning's old ass went in there and won a Super Bowl.
He had the most noodle arm I've ever seen in my life.
He couldn't throw.
It was unbelievable if they were winning games with him
because
at
it was just, you think the year before Peyton was still playing at an elite level, and then he got in, and once everyone started talking about his age, he went.
And his like neck, his ginormous neck that he was having problems with.
Peyton Manning got shipped HGH to his house. I just want that on the record book too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's true.
I hope he hears about that and beats your ass.
I hope Peyton Manning brings his big forehead over here.
I would love to have him on the podcast. I think he's one of the funniest people.
Oh yeah,
he has Peyton's Places.
You guys, Peyton Places is awesome.
If you're listening to this, which there's a 0% chance you're listening to this,
-1%.
Why are you not taking the ESPN job?
I don't know.
They would have offered you more money than God to take that job.
I wish someone would ask him.
I love his show, but I mean, come on.
And I feel like they would have been like, hey, you want a color commentator? Here's a list of 50 of them. Pick one of them that you like.
Yeah, they would have let him have it his way.
So, like, what is the issue? Like, if you don't want to do it, I did it. Good for you. Like, you played football for all that time. But, like, why would you not want to sit in the booth and make $20-25 million a year? Like, what is the downside?
And he had that other show on ESPN Plus. What was it called?
Oh, Insider or something?
I don't know, something like that. But he would like break down what quarterbacks were doing, and it's like very intelligent football knowledge. And it's like, why would you not want to have the commentator job?
Have you guys ever thought about this? Ready? What? I've heard like obviously like Romo breaking down defenses on like a regular broadcast.
Yeah.
Imagine them playing Madden. Imagine an NFL quarterback playing Madden and how good they would be at like seeing the defenses and the way they were set it up.
Probably, yeah.
Honestly, like, they would just kill everybody.
Because it's probably very basic.
It's probably just, like, base defenses, and the quarterback's probably laughing, knowing exactly
like, what the fuck? Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is this?
It's just, like, basic shit for them.
Did you guys see the Tom Brady episode of Peyton's Places?
I did.
No, he probably was, like, loving on him.
So good.
They snuck into Jim Nance's house.
Oh, that was great.
Like,
they were hitting golf balls off of his house.
Tom Brady's entered someone's house unknowingly.
Yes, that is a funny ass story. Did you see the pictures of the two houses next to each other? They're literally identical houses.
That's hilarious. I didn't see that.
So for those that don't know, he went when he first got. I guess this happened like a long time ago.
Oh, I thought it would happen
when he
more
first
recently.
got to Tampa, and he was going to meet the offensive coordinator, and he lives in a house, but his neighbor lives in a house that looks like identically the same. And he went and walked into his neighbor's house instead of his house. I guess he just walked in and put his bags down. And the guy was in the kitchen, and he came out and was like, what the fuck? And Brady like looked at him and was like, I am so sorry. I have the wrong house. Like, just imagine like you're making dinner and
just
like
Tom Brady
walks in. It's like, sir, you're in the wrong house.
So there was also talk that, and I'm not going to accuse Tom Brady of cheating, but he met with Byron Leftwich a little bit before, free agency started and kind of went over how the situation would be. And Byron Leftwich is a contracted employee for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So whether it is, tampering or not, but I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and cry wolf.
I mean, that just goes back to like Tom knew for a long time.
He knew ever since I don't know. I feel like ever since the Eagles lost, I feel like he was just like, all right, I'm out of here at some point. I don't think I'm going to retire.
Well, he came out and said that he figured before the season even started that he was out of there. Did you see him say that?
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
And it's like he had to have been looking.
I feel like.
I don't care enough about possible tampering.
I don't know. Some people are very upset about it because
anything
to do.
God, I don't care.
Anything to do with Tom Brady and possibly cheating, they're going
to jump on it.
It's a huge stretch, and don't even know. Because, like...
So, all right, so the difference is we're irrational, and a lot of people on Twitter are irrational, and will be like, 8-game suspension, full year suspension, like this and that.
It's like they're still hating him for him on the Patriots, and he's not even on the Patriots anymore. They just hate him because of who he is.
It's like the whole LeBron thing. It's like they just hate him because he's that good.
Like, people will always hate greatness. Mm-hmm. Like, no matter who it is, there's always so much hate that comes with it. What were we talking about?
Well, I got off on a tangent.
But it's like, you got to think, right? Like, if he thought before the season even started that he was like, okay, this is my last season. Guess what if they won the Super Bowl? Would he have retired or would he still have left? That's my question. Because it's like, okay, maybe got 1 or 2 years left.
I think he would have still kept playing football. Whether he stayed or left.
If they won the Super Bowl this year, he comes back around.
To the Patriots?
They sign him to like a nice 2 or 3 year deal.
But they were already going to do that. They were already going to sign him to a nice deal.
I think they... I don't know. I think his tune changes for some reason. I think he just sees it all rosy.
I don't know. I just think this is his like retirement plan. Everyone goes to Florida to retire.
That's so funny.
He just wants to retire, but he doesn't. So he's like, you know what? I'll meet you.
He'll get his retirement home while he's playing. Play a couple of years down there, and then when it's time,
make some fucking money, and then he's gonna be set.
Gronk's gonna be his next door neighbor, right? Him and Gronk will just live forever down on the beach in St. Pete for.
How did you not bet on him going to the Buccaneers? That would have been the.
It was right here. It was staring at you.
It was the crowning moment when we showed Antonio that he was like, "No way."
You were pissing.
I just know if you got the notification that he was going to Tampa Bay, that would have been the best moment of your life.
Yeah, well, because there was Vegas was the favorite. Then it was the Chargers.
Nobody.
Then it was the Bucks.
No, I think the Cowboys had better odds than Tampa Bay.
Fucking really?
They were always up there though. They were always in like the top five. They were always top five. So it was lurking at you.
I told you guys, I'm like, I got a notification today saying Tampa is a serious threat to.
Every time you said that, we were like, shut up.
You're like serious threat to sign Tom Brady, and you guys are like, who isn't? Like, who isn't going to go after Tom Brady hard?
It's so ridiculous how that shit works out. Because all last season we're like, Tampa Bay, that's the team of the podcast. That's the team we love.
Yeah, and then when I realized, like, if they want to move off of Jameis.
Now we really have to love Tampa Bay.
I mean, technically, we're not bandwagon fans because we liked them before Tom Brady gets there. So
stop.
Nah, I'm not gonna say I'm not rooting for them, but I'm definitely rooting for the Patriots. Like, I'm still a Patriots fan.
Yeah,
first.
I'm interested to see.
I'm just excited to see that. I'm just excited to see Tampa Bay play.
Is there any chance
who isn't going to be excited to see that?
I don't think that. I don't know how you wouldn't be.
No. They were already exciting with Jameis.
I want them to do well.
Is there any chance they go out there and just are like 6-10 and like not good?
I don't think so. I think their offense is too good. Injuries.
If they stay relatively healthy, I'm not saying they have to stay perfectly healthy, but if Brady plays a full season and most of their still guys stay somewhat healthy, is there any chance they win less than like 6 games?
No, I don't think so.
Because they have a solid defense. You know, their front seven.
I've just seen crazier things happen. Like, what if they don't win a season to go 4-12?
Their front seven's been good for the past 2 years. They're getting a secondary. Now they got their quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over 35 times a year.
They're going to play a lot differently this year.
I think so, but they...
Really?
I think Tom is going to sling it.
I think it's going to be like...
Tom's going to smart.
I'm not going to say... No.
He's way too smart of a quarterback to just go, hey...
It's not going to be. It's not going to be the Patriots 2.0. I don't think so.
No, it's not.
I'm not going to say it's going to be like dink and dunk, but it's going to be a lot of like Chris Godwin option routes, Mike Evans 8-yard comebacks. Like, it's not going to be a lot of field stretching. I want to say he's not going to. I don't think any passes.
They'll do that, but it's not going to be.
He's not going to throw the ball more than 20 yards.
It's not going to be Phillip Rivers over here.
I think so. I do.
I don't.
I think it's a lot because that's what Bruce Arians loves to do.
Yeah,
and I get that he's probably going to give most of the reins to Brady.
Yeah, a 43-year-old arm.
Bruce Arians knows better. He's going to give most of the reins to Brady, but he's still going to be like, yeah.
I like Bruce Arians.
Mike Evans is going to be open down
Tom
the field
is
so much.
Smartest quarterback to ever play. He's not just going to start.
Well, the problem with that team is if you line up Mike Evans on one side and Rob Gronkowski on the other side, you're not double teaming both of them.
If I'm the defense, I'm like, dude, What do we do?
And then there's Chris Godwin right there, and you're
yes.
like, excuse me? What do you want us to do?
This is exactly what we were thinking when they got Antonio Brown last year. We're like, they're going to line up against these guys and be like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? That's literally going to be all season for Tampa Bay.
But the difference is they're not on the Patriots, whereas like you're right, the Buccaneers will actually like be like, hey, we're going to score 50
Brady's going to
points.
throw it 50 times a game.
Yeah.
All the time. Every game.
I mean, they don't really have, I'm not going to say they don't have a running back.
They
like,
drafted one.
Oh, did they? Who? Anyone did?
I want to say it was like a second-round pick.
I wish they got Edwards-Helaire. That was a good pick by Kansas City.
Yeah, that's scary. You know who I think is scary? J.K. Dobbins on the Ravens. That is Sal. This is my first one that I thought was intriguing to me. Was J.K. Dobbins to the Ravens?
Running back.
You think about how much?
Yeah.
Wait, who was it?
Tyshawn Vaughn.
Okay,
he was
so
really
you
good.
think about how they integrated Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson in that running game. J.K. Dobbins
It's just fresh legs.
He is a more explosive, more elusive version of Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram's getting a bit older. He's been kind of through the mill a little bit. He's small. J.K. Dobbins is not small. He is a big boy, and he's gonna J.K. Dobbins, Rookie of the Year.
Ooh,
Rookie of the Year.
Nolan, I like the call.
Yeah, no, I've been thinking about that one a lot. I was like, wow, that is scary.
I
don't know how he fell that far for them to just scoop him up.
You know who really needs to have a chip on their shoulder is that team next year.
Absolutely.
And if they come out, I don't even want to see them come out firing in like week 2 or week 3. It's like at the end of the season, if they can rally and get their shit together, like that's a scary team heading into the postseason.
But if they come out and go like 6-1, it's like you're not going to be surprised.
The thing that like not upsets me, but it's like Lamar's 0-2 in playoff games, and yes, he's a second year. But if he starts off 0-3 in his career in like playoff games, that's really not a good look.
No,
for him.
That's gonna eat him alive.
Yeah.
That one especially because you know that they were heavy Super Bowl.
People are talking about his playoff record now, but you get to 0-3, people will.
Yeah,
people are
because
like,
all
wow.
off season,
you.
that's all they would talk about next year is Lamar gets to the playoffs and you can't even throw the football. Like blah.
I mean,
blah,
they were
blah.
he was getting heavy doses of that this year too.
Mm-hmm.
Just being 0-2, people are like, oh, maybe he's not the guy we thought he was.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy to say after he just won the MVP.
So my other pick that intrigued me a lot, which we know I've been a Carson Wentz hater. Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
to the Eagles.
I work with an Eagles fan. He actually said to me, he's like, "Oh, what do you think about?" Because the quarterbacks had been drafted. I was working that night, and he goes, "Well, what do you think about Jalen Hurts?" And I'm like, "He sucks. Some dumbass team is going to draft him." And then he comes back from his break, and he goes, "Antonio, guess who Hurts got drafted by?" I'm like, "Don't say the Eagles." He said the Eagles, and I just started laughing my ass off. Which is good. It's a horrible pick.
I don't think Jalen Hurts is terrible.
Oh, he's not going to be good in the NFL.
Ooh.
I'm somewhere in between you and Nolan. I don't think he's going to be good.
He might have games.
Okay, ready? What he got drafted for
is to be like a Taysom Hill type thing. That's how they want to.
That's what they came out and said.
That's how they want to use him.
They came out and said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they want to.
I thought he was like the backup. Like
no, he's a great athlete.
They're gonna use him as like a. But here's the thing, though: if Carson Wentz starts shitting the bed and maybe gets hurt again, do you bring him in at quarterback?
Well, who's their other option? Because McCown retired.
Oh, McCown retired, so I don't know who their other option is.
Nate Sudfeld.
Okay, are you going in with Nate Sudfeld or you're?
I'm gonna take my chances with Jalen Hurts. Like
exactly,
obviously.
so that's
Nick
what I'm saying.
Did
what if he comes out and he's firing in all cylinders? He surprises everybody.
In a college game. That's not.
His
whole Alabama
I think he's
career
gotten better since then.
I do too, but his whole Alabama career, he was seen as this real limited guy, and I don't know how much him being in the Big 12.
He almost won a Heisman last year,
bro. He played in the Big 12, like. You're playing against the worst.
Well, okay,
worst
and then
defenses
Tua
in the
got hurt,
country.
and he led them to a victory in the year after he got pulled.
What do you mean Tua got pulled? He got hurt.
That's what I said. The year after he got pulled, I said Tua got hurt, and the year after he got pulled, he won a playoff game.
He did win a playoff game, but still, were you that impressed with him at Alabama playing against the best defenses in the country?
I'm not saying he's good, but I'm saying he's a serviceable.
Oh, he
backup.
could be. I don't think he's going to be good. He might have some decent games.
I'm saying he's going to be fine. Like
I think if
He'll hold his own.
I think if Carson Wentz starts shitting the bed, which, I mean, isn't like totally off the table. It could happen.
I think that...
Oh, if he gets hurt one more time, I think the Eagles are going to say, all right.
And Jalen Hurts comes in and we have a Carolina Panthers Cam Newton situation.
Well, I think that it's just such a bad look.
I mean, it's going to be a bad look.
Why are you paying him so much money and then being like, hey, our second round pick, we're going to take a quarterback? Like, even if it is for like certain packages, it's like that still looks bad for Carson.
It does.
And then there's a shrine to Nick Foles at the practice facility.
I mean, it could. I mean, I thought that when they got rid of Nick Foles and then they still have that freaking statue of him, like that would be a kick in the ass to Carson Wentz after they went and won the Super Bowl without him. Because everyone was like, oh, well, he's the leader of our team. Like, what are we going to do? They go and win the Super Bowl anyway. And it's like, okay, that should be a kick in the ass to Carson Wentz. Like, get your game up. And he didn't show it. He didn't show it this year. He didn't.
They also had the kind of situation that New England had with the receivers, but maybe 10 times worse. So, they had defensive backs out there playing receiver for them.
So racist.
Oh, God. That's not good.
No, I'm kidding. You're good.
But yeah, they had a cornerback out there playing wide receiver for them at one point. And they have.
Then why don't you think they would draft heavy receivers?
I don't know. I really don't. They did draft.
They took two, right?
They did draft a receiver, but he's like 5'2".
But
what are you hoping for, the next Darren Sproles?
No, because they have this vision of this offense where they just run streaks down the field because they have Deshaun Jackson.
You talk about boring teams. The Eagles are going to be a boring team. They're going to try to just run it with Wentz. They're going to do what kind of the Ravens did. They said that it was going to be like what the Ravens did on crack. Like where they're just running with Hurts and Wentz. It's like, what the fuck are you going to do?
I don't know about all
How
that.
are you going to score points?
I don't know about all
your defense. Your secondary sucks. People are just going to throw all over you. It only works.
Well, no, they trade for Sly.
Yeah, but it only works if you have a really kick-ass defense.
Yeah.
They got to hope that their defense is really good because if they try to play
they have a good defensive line, and if Slay can be the player he was in Detroit.
It's going to be like 10-7, 13-6 every game. It's going to be so annoying.
So the Giants just extended Evan Ingram and Jabril Peppers.
There were talks about Ingram getting traded.
There were, but off the table now, which he's been very injury prone, but when he's in there.
Well, when he's in there, he's great. I drafted him in fantasy this year, and he played great for 3 weeks.
I thought Peppers played really good last year. They didn't really, really miss Landon Collins.
Well, kind of speaking of Jabril Peppers, do we think Odell gets traded? Because that's been on the news lately,
That's been such a whirlwind.
God, who even knows with that guy?
What could they get out of him?
The thing is that
who would have to give up enough for them to say yes?
I think if you're the Browns, you just can't have him on your team anymore.
Right? I don't see any positive of the Browns having him there.
He has. I mean, I guess it's literally just that him and Baker don't fit
at all.
That's literally. It's not like he hasn't been toxic or anything.
But he's 0 for 2. Like he wasn't really a fit in the Giants, and he wasn't really a fit on the Browns. So it's like, where does he fit in?
I don't know. I can't see anywhere. I mean,
New England.
Well, Minnesota was talking about.
Stop.
If
you don't think they'd kick him in
Tampa
line
Bay's
there?
just like, all right, we're gonna trade for him.
If you went to Tampa, he loves Tom Brady, so I could definitely see that happening.
Imagine a set with Odell, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski on the field like that. I can promise you're not guarding.
No, that's a super team.
Literally.
We're talking Kevin Durant, Steph, Clay, Draymond. We're talking about super team there. Something that we never thought we'd see in football.
Your team, Miami.
Oh yeah,
that's
Tua.
right.
I think that's kind of scary.
That's one of the. We know I'm not too high on Tua, but that was one of the places I did say that I could see him kind of turning into a pretty decent quarterback down there, not having to.
I would have loved to see them get Joe Burrow though.
Yeah, he's
somehow.
We all know he wasn't going to be the guy to get drafted by a cold weather team and tear it up there. Miami's a good spot for him. They had a good draft. Miami had a real good draft.
I wish we saw fireworks. I wish we saw Herbert go to
I was gonna say I would have loved to see. I think Herbert would have been the right pick for Miami there, but
really,
yeah, I'm so disappointed he got drafted by the Chargers because who cares about the Chargers?
Well, he has been living in Oregon his whole life, and he's a Chargers fan since he was young.
And he's gonna have some pretty good targets to throw to. Not many rookie QBs have that luxury.
I don't know that he's gonna play.
You don't think he's gonna play?
I don't know that he's gonna play right away.
Who do they have?
Tyrod. Okay, roll your eyes, but you know what they say? Tyrod's our starting quarterback for 2021. Like that, they keep saying that. Like that is their promise.
Okay, so give me 4 games, and then
he doesn't do anything.
I agree with you, but
Tyrod
right now,
doesn't do anything special, but he's not a bad quarterback.
He is the perfect quarterback for a mediocre but not playoff.
Oh yeah,
team.
if you want to go 8-8,
Tyrod Taylor
Bills
and Jeff
did it for
Fisher
like
would be the
3
best
years.
2 combo of going mediocre.
he was the most average on the Bills.
Oh, I know. He did take them to the playoffs one year, 9-7.
And they put the playoffs.
They did. That was
the Peterman.
That was
year.
it when they put in Peterman for no reason.
Dude, they were.
This
team is like 6-3 in the playoffs, like has a playoff spot, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna bench Tyrod and go with a different quarterback, and then he throws 5 interceptions and the team loses by 40. Like, what the hell was that?
Throwing your season away. That's what that was.
That was awful. And then they
Nathan
played the
Peterman.
Bills in that awful playoff game. Or I mean, they played the
Jags
Jaguars
10-9.
That was an awful game. That was probably a game you liked because you love games like that.
Yeah, well, I was pissed because the Bills lost, but
I forgot you're. Well, what are you, like a 50% Bills fan? Like you're a 50% Auburn fan?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, let's see what else. Oh, CeeDee Lamb falls to the Cowboys.
That sucks. That's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem. How do the Cowboys get that?
So here's what I'm going to say. You know who this puts tremendous pressure on is Dak Prescott. If he signs a 1-year deal and he goes out there and sucks next year, they're going to be like, we drafted you a wide receiver. We signed Amari Cooper. We signed
I'm a big
Elliott.
Dak fan, though.
I know you're a huge Dak fan.
He's
but
going to have...
This year,
my God.
Nolan, this year is make or break for him.
Because he thought it was last year and he had a great year.
He's got to do it one more time.
I think he can do it.
If he wants... I do, too. I think Dak Prescott is like Tony Romo's replica. Like
minus just a few interceptions.
All right. He's
just a few.
He's got a little bit more intangible, but like I don't know. He's like the 8th best quarterback in the NFL. Like Tony Romo was always like not top 5, but not.
But he was putting up good stats.
But like
he was always putting up
Dak
good stats.
is top 5. That's the thing.
I don't.
I don't.
I do.
Can Dak Prescott lead a team that's mediocre over the hump? No, that's a proven statement.
I don't know.
He hasn't won. Has he won a playoff game against
Seahawks? Seahawks covered
at home.
I bet on the Seahawks that game. There was the
2.5.
Yep, there was the 2-point conversion. I was like, let's go.
That was the grossest beat of all time. It's a 4-point playoff game, Nolan.
Was this last year?
This was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
They
It's
went
a
for 2,
4-point
just
playoff
for fun.
game. The line is 2.5.
Game
and
was
Seattle
over.
goes for 2.
The game was
with
over,
like
man.
A minute left, dude. I was like, no.
Dude, I saw
way.
on the side, like, I thought the game was over, and I saw Pete go like this, and I'm like, no.
Oh my
That was like
God.
$100 parlay I had with like some other team too.
you know.
But like, what rationale? What reason? What nothing.
For fun.
That's dirty. If I lost like that, I would be sick for days.
I would throw up. I would like go out and kiss someone with coronavirus.
Because it was like a garbage time touchdown too. They were down 10 before the touchdown.
No, they were not winning that game. I remember exactly what you're talking about now.
And then they go 2.
I did not.
so
What I
funny.
did not know is that it was 2.5. I did not know.
I
it was
swear to
2.5.
God, it was 2.5.
Why
So,
is
yeah,
it 2.5?
the Cowboys-
Why is it 2.5?
The Cowboys
make it
won that
3.
game.
I would feel so much better if it was 3.
Just make it 3. Like, just make it 3.
The Cowboys won that game. After that, they went to the Rams. That's when C.J. Anderson, came back to life and had that game, and Cowboys were gone.
Ugh,
That's right.
But yeah, Dak's 1-3 in playoff games.
that's not great either. I don't know.
That's like
All
just
I'm
a Cowboys
saying is
stat.
if he has a mediocre year, they can be like, Dak, you had a great run here, but we might move on. Like, I'm not going to say that they are going to do that, but there is a chance that they do that. If they don't think he's the guy,
I wanted the Patriots to get Dak so bad.
I could see that too.
He would be so good.
He would be the perfect system quarterback for them. I would like that. If Dak Prescott was a Patriot,
So if
I
they
would
move
like
off of him next year and the Patriots like say they go out, they try to shoot for the home run and they don't, so then they can't get Trevor.
that. I also feel like Dak Prescott's the perfect like Patriot player too. Like he would just go out there and be like, yes,
I
sir.
want him on my team.
I could see that.
That'd be a real
Best
good
believe
fit.
I'm drafting him in fantasy again.
He's a good fantasy. He runs a lot.
Great. God, in the beginning of the season, he was so good. He was like, I forget, like the first game.
I know I'm not getting Lamar again next year.
The worst players in fantasy are the ones that start off the season really well and then don't do anything after like week 8.
Oh,
he was so infuriating.
That was the only thing. He was consistent throughout the year. He was like second in yards.
He was a top 3 or 4 fantasy quarterback last
year? He was first in yards for a while up until Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis had that like the shit games at the end of the season.
Did I ever tell you the game that he played Atlanta? Yeah, he played Atlanta, and that was the game he threw like 450 yards and 4 touchdowns, and like Godwin went insane, like 200 yards. I did a DraftKings lineup for like $1 or like the $10 entry, and I was in like 3rd place because I had Jameis, Godwin, and like some other receiver all went off in the 1 p.m. games, and I was like on pace to win like $10,000 or something.
That's crazy.
I was like, no way, dude. And then like obviously the 4 o'clock games I didn't do as well, but like he torched it up in fantasy some games last year. Like he would have like 40 points, and then he'd have games where he had
a light switch.
He'd have games where he'd have like 1.3 though. He'd have 4 interceptions and like 150 yards. Like
it was a light switch for him.
There were some bad beats in fantasy last year too. Like one Sunday night, I think when the Cowboys played the Eagles, Carson Wentz had negative points. That was when the Cowboys won by like 30 something. Carson Wentz had like negative 0.7 or something. Like imagine leaving him in and then he loses you the week.
And then didn't he like come out of the game too?
I think towards the end.
Yeah, when they were just like,
see why not?
Well, yeah, they were down they were literally down like 45.
It was like mid-3rd quarter, and it was like, oh my god, dude! Like
they were down like 45 like 10 or 45-7 or something like that. They were getting their ass handed to them.
Not surprising.
It's like Carson, before you tear your esophagus, you're gonna come off.
He is very.
How do we feel about Drew Brees taking the ESPN or like CBS or whatever it was
after he's last week, right?
After he's done?
I do like that though.
It's gonna be awesome to see him on TV.
Do we like the Winston signing there?
No.
Really? Sean Payton can do anything.
Yeah, he's obviously has the arm talent. It's just up here.
I did not want to see
Gotta get in line.
Saints. That was kind of stupid.
You don't think it's like Teddy 2.0 though?
He's not their plan.
Bring in like a little reclamation project.
He's not there. Like, he's not the plan for the future.
Have Drew Brees give him a hug.
If he's not the plan for the future, then why'd you bring him in?
What, they put him in for a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah.
Teddy's situation. Guy who could sling him.
They're like obsessed with having like an above average kind of big name guys.
There's no starting job anywhere else in the NFL. All the other teams either have a starting quarterback or have a guy that have a young guy that they're going to develop. Oh yeah, he's probably not.
We said this before. There's no place for him to go.
Literally, every team's got a guy.
Someone is going to get hurt before the season starts, and that's where Cam is going to go.
Yeah, that's when these guys are going to come in.
I can't even. Obviously, I can't predict the future, but like, I could see him somewhere in like Minnesota if like Kirk Cousins gets hurt. Or I could see him somewhere in like.
Oh, yeah,
I don't even know.
That was another thing. One of you said something about
wow,
Kirk. If there's no fans in attendance, he's going to have the best season ever.
Right? Oh, I think Nolan said that. Actually, that's the funniest thing I ever heard.
I sent that to our group chat.
So
I was like, wow, that's so right.
Absolutely no pressure.
There's no pressure at that point.
And even if it's a Sunday night game, it's like okay, there's no. It's fans.
Like, he's gonna walk in the field and be like,
He's gonna be he might be the best player ever. Cam Newton. What do we think about somehow if they were able to cut Jared Goff if he went there?
What'd you say?
No.
Who?
Rams. If they were able to get rid of Jared Goff
to get Cam?
Yeah.
No.
It's not worth it.
Jared Goff is stinky.
But he's also still young. I think
Cam Newton can't throw the long ball anymore.
He can't. Cam Newton's also getting a little older.
Who's more fun to watch though? I'd rather watch Cam Newton than Jared Goff.
Yeah,
I'd rather watch Jared throw 30, 40-yard passes than have Cam Newton in there looking like a stupid idiot.
You hate Cam Newton.
I don't hate Cam Newton. I see it how it is. He's not healthy, and he is not. Like, it's kind of like how, like...
I gotta see him again.
It's when Gronk had his first, like, serious injury and he came back and he just wasn't the same guy. It's like, that just happens to people.
His arm died after week 8 in the 2018 season.
That just happens. sucks, but it happens.
I don't know. I love Cam Newton. I've always thought.
When he's on, oh my god, he's so fun to watch.
I hope he proves me wrong and just absolutely.
The year he was dabbing on everybody, he was the hottest thing.
That
ever.
was ridiculous. Oh, they were so fun to watch. And then a couple of years after that, they won 11-5, and he had a really good year that year too.
Who did the Panthers draft?
Good question.
I think they probably drafted some defensive line. Oh, they drafted Derek Brown from your Auburn.
Oh, that's right. D tackle, right?
Give me a scouting report. Is he good? Obviously, he has to be if he got drafted top 10.
Oh yeah, well he was going to be one of the top defensive picks in the draft. There was someone even predicted the Giants were going to grab him, but I think he's going to fit in well down there.
Do you like what Matt Rule has going down there? Signing Teddy, drafting him.
I think
he might be a surprising sure too.
I really think if the Panthers weren't in that division, they'd be in a pretty good situation.
They're just in a rough division.
They're in the best division in the NFL right now. And there's really not much you can do about that. They're going to end up being like a 7-9 last place team.
They're not going that good.
That division's just going to beat the shit out of each other.
So I said this.
If you put the Panthers in a crappy division, oh yeah, they'd have a chance to go like 10-6 or something like that.
I might have said this on a previous podcast already. The Saints aren't going to be good next year.
They aren't going to be good.
The Saints are not going to be good next year.
He has said that.
They are going 8-8 or 7-9 next year.
They're still winning that division. Tampa's a wild card team as far as I'm concerned.
What made you say
the
that?
Saints?
Yeah, what made you say that?
They're just too full of themselves.
You
see what Sean Payton said today, or a couple days ago maybe? There's only 10 or 15 relevant teams in the NFL, and he said if I'm coaching one...
he's a cocky guy.
He's a very cocky guy, and I'm not saying I don't like that.
But he backs it up, though.
He's right about it. I just don't think this is the year. I think Drew Brees hits a wall. I think it's just over. I'm not going to say, like... New Orleans' run is over, but I just don't think this is a good
What's
year
concerning for me is that when Drew Brees said or like agreed to be the CBS guy or whatever network it was, I forget, but that kind of like tells me that you only want to play one more year.
Oh yeah, he's obviously got a plan to play.
How many times?
Maybe not one more year, 2, 3.
Can you lose in the playoffs in a row on some heartbreaking shit and come back the next year and be like,
I don't know. It must be so tough.
It sucks.
Just to constantly have that happen.
You'd at the Kyle Rudolph. That one wasn't.
I've been
bad.
so high on them, and
that one wasn't bad.
I've really wanted to see them win some Super Bowls these past couple of years.
But what happened before
the Minnesota Miracle and then the PI?
What happened before though with the PI made the Kyle Rudolph thing more than it was.
Well, yeah, but if you're all right, so you're gonna tell me Kyle Rudolph, PI, and then Minnesota Miracle, how you do it the last 3 years? Like you're really gonna?
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Like I'm not gonna say like that's gonna be the reason.
All totally avoidable things too.
But at the same time, like you have to like get your shit together and like restart. Like everyone starts from the bottom and has to work their way up again. It's not just because they're the New Orleans Saints. They immediately start off better than everyone else. So close to
seeing a Saints Patriots Super Bowl.
That would have been
awesome.
That's what everyone wanted to see. That's what the NFL wanted to see.
And then we got freaking Patriots Rams. That was I mean, like
the past 3 years, dude. Come playoff time, the Saints were the team that I was rooting for because I just wanted to see Drew get what he deserves, more Super Bowls.
What was your favorite Super Bowl of the last 10 years? I'll say 15 because we're only 20 years old, but 21 years old.
Like, you can't ask a Patriots fan. Let's ask him then.
You can't. Okay. You can't ask a Giants fan either.
Realistically, take out your team Super. That's like so unfair.
The best Super Bowl anyone's ever seen is the Falcons Patriots.
I don't know. Like
that is the best sports game I have ever watched.
No, Seahawks Patriots, way better game.
No.
The comeback, okay. It was
Can I be the weird guy in the corner that says Steelers Cardinals?
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
That was a great game, but was it the Patriots versus Falcons?
Well, not Sal. No one. I just think.
I was like, what did I say?
I just think a game like that Cardinals game or the Seahawks game is much more entertaining to watch than one team playing like garbage the first half, and one team playing great the first half, and then the other team playing like garbage the second half, and one team playing great the second half.
I'm not saying anything bad about this game, but like there were. Like full game, like entertainment value.
Okay, you should have said that. You should have said that then.
What was the best played
That's a great way
game in the Super Bowl? Like, what was the most entertainment, start to finish, like well played throughout? I could say Steelers Cardinals,
Seahawks Pats.
I could say Seahawks Pats. I could say, let me think. I could say Packers Steelers. No, that was. I'm not gonna say that was a blowout at first, but the Packers were up a little bit at the start of the half. I'm trying to think of like what really was like the best one.
I mean, Ravens and 49ers.
Eagles Patriots was a great Super Bowl.
Phenomenal.
Game. That was a great.
The 49ers and Ravens, that was pretty good.
That after the lights came back on, everyone was like, "Wow!"
It had a little spice to it when the lights went out. I liked that. The Harbaugh brothers.
What do we think? I mean, this year's Super Bowl was kind of boring, but it still was a good game. Like I don't know.
It was a well played game all around.
If I had to narrow down one, I might say Steelers Cardinals just because that was that good of a game. I remember I watched that whole game.
I liked this year's because like coming off of the Patriots and Rams Super Bowl, anything could have beaten it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was nothing that could be more boring than that might be the most boring Super Bowl I've ever seen. Was that and then the
Giants won
of the past.
Giants won was super boring.
And the
which one?
Seahawks and Broncos game.
2007.
The Seahawks Broncos.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Oh my!
That
God.
one might be worse too.
That was over in 5 minutes.
Yeah. What was that? 2014.
Well, I think that's
13?
the undisputed worst one, but
2013. 2014.
Yeah, the Giants and Pats in 2007.
Well,
nothing happened until the fourth quarter.
Honestly, the worst one I've watched was the Broncos Panthers Super Bowl, and not because that was a bad game. I just had no entertainment at all in that game. Like, I was just watching an old Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for the Panthers too, and when they lost, I was kind of upset.
It was just like a defensive game. It was all defense pretty much.
It was
all
CJ
Broncos
Anderson
defense. And then the Seahawks Broncos, it was all Seahawks defense.
Mm-hmm.
What was the score of that game? The ending score.
Seahawks Broncos
43-8.
43.
That is the worst. Like when you're supposed to have the two best teams.
They got raced, bro. That game wasn't even close.
Like the first snap when it just goes way over Peyton's head, you knew that was over.
People won so much money on that.
Oh, absolutely.
First play of the game, safety. Like that.
If anyone bet on that, that's incredible.
It was like I couldn't even tell you like 150 to 1 or like 100 to 1. Honestly, like you put 50.
It's like 1,000 to 1.
Put $10.
Oh
on
no,
that,
no,
you're winning a few $100.
It definitely wasn't that much.
You think so?
No. But
I guess so, because you could have like a botched run out or something.
There's
like
a lot of things that could happen, but no, seriously, that
if someone hammered that,
good for you.
You're ahead of in life. Right?
They're somewhere out there,
for sure.
It's probably the richest person too. Like they didn't even need it.
Oh yeah, that's what always happens.
Someone who's just really well off.
They're just like, oh, I'm gonna throw $1 million on this, see what happens.
Just happens to hit. Nice.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Back to the draft. I got off on that tangent. So
I like when we get off on tangents.
Fun.
Fills the time.
We didn't really talk about Joe Burrow. We have been talking about Joe Burrow in past podcasts, but they actually took him. I mean, obviously, we are.
It's
thrilled.
hard. It's
We're
hard
thrilled
to
that the Bengals actually did the right thing.
Yeah.
For once.
It sucks that he's going to go to the Bengals, but we don't have control over that.
It's not. And
I don't know how to describe it, but when you watch him, he's got it.
I agree.
He just has it.
I agree. I just wish he was put into not the Cincinnati Bengals franchise.
I know, but they took T. Higgins. I
should
love
have pulled
that
an
pick.
Eli and just.
That was
I
a good
love
pick.
the T. Higgins pick.
You should have pulled an Eli. And just
Tyler
said no.
Boyd. It's Tyler Boyd's fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
He's become a real nice receiver.
AJ Green got franchised.
He did? Okay, so he's going to stick around.
Well, he said he's not signing it, but
We'll see how that goes. Either way, AJ Green or not, he's got some boys to throw to.
He doesn't have the leverage to be a diva. AJ Green.
No,
he got
doesn't.
hurt. And it's like, okay,
well, he
now
keeps
you want
getting hurt.
Now you want to be a diva? You can't be a diva.
He wasn't really hurt. I mean, I'm not AJ Green, so I can't really say that. But every week last week, you'd read the report. AJ Green might play this week. AJ Green not practicing this week. It's like, what happens?
Oh, yeah, I had him on
Monday,
one of my
Tuesday?
teams, and I'm like, is this guy going to play?
No, is the answer.
It was almost
I will never draft AJ Green
It was
into a
like
fantasy
DeAndre
team
Hopkins
again.
in the beginning of the season. Remember you were like, is
he
ever going to start playing good?
But oh yeah, no, I know.
It was all Will Fuller. And then Will Fuller got hurt.
When Will Fuller gets hurt and you have DeAndre Hopkins on
that
your
was towards
fantasy
the
team, that's
end,
a
though.
very good thing.
But then when Will Fuller comes back, you want Will Fuller.
Yeah. That one
Because
game
you're like,
where he
well,
had, like,
DeAndre
250
Hopkins
yards.
has 22, but Will's getting 28.
Yeah.
Speaking of DeAndre, his new team, I like their pick.
Who do they pick?
Clemson, Isaiah Simmons. Versatile linebacker.
Well, that's who I wanted the Giants to draft because he's so good. But
you guys need an offensive line.
Yeah, they did really need offensive linemen. So But yeah, that was a great pick. I think he's going to be a great player.
God, I love Tua to the Dolphins too. I love that.
It's scary to me.
I
feel like they're like a powerhouse waiting, like just waiting for their time.
A part of me really likes it, but another part of me is like, if he goes out and falls on his face,
You won't be
I won't be surprised. No, but I think a lot of people wouldn't be surprised.
It's kind of like with that division.
A lot of people were saying that, like when he was hurt and everything, they're like, he's not ready for the NFL. I don't know what switched, and everyone's like, Tua is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen.
Obviously, it's 50-50, but like he is either going to be like a star or very bad. I don't think he's just going to be like a medium NFL quarterback. Like I think he's either going to flame out or be like not a Hall of. He could be a Hall of Famer, but like a Pro
Anyone
Bowler.
could be a Hall of Famer. We don't know what happens in the future, Antonio.
Antonio could be a Hall of Famer. We don't know.
That's a weird division, though. It's like, well, not a weird division, but where do the Jets fit in with all this?
To throw them out.
Exactly. It's like Miami is like, oh, in a few years,
There's nothing
we're
the
going to be
Jets
one
are
of the
gonna
great
do.
teams. And then right
Well,
now
the Jets
we got
are saying the
Bills.
same thing, though.
Oh, come on now. But we got the Bills and the Pats. It's obvious that they're going to be steamrolling those two other teams.
Yeah,
like,
and then
what
you
kind
see
of
the Dolphins getting quietly better, and you're like, okay,
what
we
kind
can't
of
be the
plan
dumpster
do
fire.
the Jets have?
I want to propose.
Le'Veon Bell, I'm good.
Sam Darnold.
I think Darnold's good, but they're just not giving him anything.
And they traded Robbie
Anderson's
Anderson
gone.
away.
I want to propose something new. Bills versus Patriots record bet.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Okay. We'll figure it out after.
What are you gonna bet?
Patriots
Just on the
record
record.
versus
Who has a better record?
Bills record.
Bills.
Patriots.
Bills.
I just think that team top to bottom right now is so good. I can see them being a 1 seed next year. 12
This is their time to take it.
This is the problem.
Their defense
This is the
from top to bottom.
This is the problem.
So good.
Although Josh Allen in that playoff game looked kind of bad, though.
he looked so stinky.
I hear from everybody. You know who the team to watch out for is? Buffalo. And
It's not the team to watch out for. Everyone just knows
they got a
they're
great coach.
Everybody I
They're-
talk football to says that this is Buffalo's year, and whenever I hear that team always does bad. So I won't be
When
surprised.
was the last time people were saying it was Buffalo's year?
Okay, I've heard the Browns year before, which obviously didn't happen. I've heard teams like the Falcons after they lost the Super Bowl. Hey, this is the Falcons year.
Yeah, but
and then they go
these are
6-10.
these are teams that you keep hearing
this
that you
is
get
what
a lot of
happens,
trends for.
Antonio,
The Bills have just been 8-8 flat for the past 10 years.
I'm just telling you, this is what happens in the NFL. Teams that get hyped up, and I feel like the Bills are one of those hype teams this year, usually fall flat on their face. And I'm not going to say it's definite, but that's my prediction. I think they fall flat on their face, and I think the Saints fall flat on their face.
I don't see how you can fall flat on, like flat.
7-9 is what I consider falling flat on your face if you were 10 or 11
I
minutes
don't know.
last
The
year.
Bills with that defense, I just don't see it happening. And then their offense too. If Josh Allen could get,
it's an NFL season. Injuries
It is.
happen.
That's very true.
It's a long season.
If Allen could get just a little somewhat accuracy with,
he's
the
not consistent. That's his
cannon
problem.
that he has.
Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but half the time he is the best quarterback you've ever seen, and half the time he looks like Mark Sanchez.
That's true. But their receiving core is very good. Cole Beasley had a really good year. John Brown had a great year.
Again, you got to
Diggs.
get the ball to them. And Josh Allen
I think
consistently do that?
He
Josh
got the
Allen
ball.
was the reason why John Brown was so good last year.
Exactly. He got the ball to Brown and Beasley. Singletary was awesome last year. They drafted another running back. too.
I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm just saying that they are a hype team, and I've seen people overhype them, and that this is what tends to happen when these teams are overhyped. So I will gladly take the Patriots against the Bills. In conclusion.
But then you're making the argument about Josh Allen. What about Jarrett Stidham?
We don't know enough about Jared Stidham to make a...
So you're trusting a guy that we don't know.
I'm trusting Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think he's not going to be
Stidham still
bad.
has to go out and play.
I'm trusting the fact that since 2000, Bill Belichick has won 11 or more games.
Yeah, no quarterback
Every year.
that you put in, obviously.
That's a good
like
stat
an
to go
NFL
off
level
of.
quarterback. No one's going to play bad in that Pat system.
20 years of Bill Belichick is a pretty good track record of double-digit wins.
Yeah, but it's like setting up a chessboard, and before you start playing, someone takes your queen out and is like, "Good luck."
I could beat Antonio without a queen and chess.
Well,
It'd be very difficult for you.
It would be
I'm
hard.
sure you could. I don't know how to
It
play
would probably
chess.
take you a couple tries. That's what I'm saying. You take Tom Brady out of the equation, it's pretty difficult.
I can see the Patriots season going two ways: 2-14 or like 10-6. And I think that Buffalo is either going, like he said, 12-4 or 6-10.
I think it's a healthy 8-9 year for the Patriots.
I forgot there's 17 games.
There's not. They're not adding it this year.
They are adding it this year.
They're adding the extra playoff spot, and they're waiting for the extra game for the year after.
Okay. I believe you.
So 8-8.
My thing with the Patriots this year is they're going to start off like 1-5, 2-5, something like that, and people are going to be like, "Oh, they're finished. They suck now." They're going to win like 6 straight. The defense is going to lock everyone down. Stidham's going to, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not going to say he's going to go off.
Isn't their schedule pretty tough this year too? The Patriots.
It always is.
Because everyone was making fun of how easy their schedule was last year.
It's just the division's a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, now you got to play the Bills twice. Now Miami's looking pretty good. You got to play them twice.
Used to be, but now
it's like that's looking like 2 losses to me.
Obviously, you go down to Miami every year and weird shit happens.
They always lose one, so that like you're 1-3. We're just on those. So
every few years they drop a game to the Jets, and they haven't done that.
They're beating the Jets twice.
They haven't done.
They're beating the Jets twice this year. Like they're over.
Yeah, no. How excited are Jets fans going to be? Like they're going to be like, "No, Tom Brady, you guys suck," and then New England's going to come.
I think that'll be a close game, though.
New England's going to come in.
I don't think it's going to be a light show. I think that'll be a close game. I mean, I think every game that the Patriots play this year is going to be a close game because like they have a really good defense, but like they're just going to be boring on offense, kind of like how they were last year at the end of the year.
Yeah, but how fun is talking shit about the Jets? Come on,
they're so bad.
Bad.
To a lot of other people, how fun is it talking shit about the Patriots?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're a good franchise.
Oh yeah, no, the Jets suck. The Jets are so bad. Sorry, Andrew. We're doing this on Papa Barnes' birthday. We shouldn't be shitting.
Oh
on
no,
Jets.
Is it really? Happy birthday!
We shouldn't be
there,
Rob
Barnes.
Too much.
The goat,
the man, the myth, the legend.
Do we like Jonathan Taylor going to the Colts? Pair with Marlon Mack?
Yes. Also scary for already run heavy, very efficient run heavy team. That is kind of scary.
Phillip Rivers.
That division's wide open.
Because I think they're gonna try to go run heavy. They don't want Phillip Rivers throwing the ball very much.
How do they not win the division?
They could definitely win the division.
I would say they have to be the favorite to win that division.
I think Jacksonville's also going to be much improved. They drafted a wide receiver.
No. They're going to go 2-15.
Oh, God.
Or 2-14.
They still have a good defense. I like Gardner Minshew. What's his face? Who the hell is the receiver?
Nobody.
Oh, Chark.
Yeah,
nobody.
Chark.
Had a great year last year. And they drafted another wide receiver. So, I'm just saying. That
is
division.
Fournette out of there?
They want to trade him, but who wants a running back?
What?
Who wants a running back?
Who wants a running back?
I don't want Leonard Fournette.
No, but who wants to trade for a running back on the 5th year of his rookie deal, where you're gonna have to sign him at some point after the year? Like, why would you trade? Why would you trade for a running back? Just draft a running back or sign a running back.
Yeah, the problem is there's so many good running backs every year that come around.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to sign one, like you said, 5th
all that
year.
money at him anymore. Unless you're someone real special.
Like Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon, they all messed up. Todd Gurley eventually got the money, but now it's messed up because he can't freaking play.
Well, the problem, too, is, like, why are you signing Elliott to a contract like that where they're backup to do the same job?
And Ezekiel Elliott, the same thing. Like, it's great for Ezekiel Elliott, for the Dallas front office, but it's like... Same thing with Melvin.
No, it's a big on for the Dallas.
Oh, yeah, no, he's just going to get tubbier and tubbier. I'm telling you about it. He's going to come out next year.
That cutoff shirt is going to keep getting bigger.
Well, no more cutoffs.
We're in lockdown. He's going to come out and you're going to be like, that boy's got a stomach now.
Same thing when Melvin Gordon held out. Like, the Chargers were like, aw.
Yeah, we'll just play Austin.
They had two competent
Melvin Gordon. I'm like, all right, I'm really gonna miss your 932 yards and
Justin
10
Jackson,
touchdowns.
who was he got banged up, I think, but he was really good too. He was a good backup to Austin Eckler while Eckler was going on.
They used them both dual running backfield, and it worked really good for them.
I love the Chargers. I love that organization. Like, I love what they have going on over there.
Oh no, they got a good team. It's
Melvin's
just the
out of
Chargers.
Now that Melvin's out of there, they don't have to worry about feeding him anymore. I think towards the end of the season when he came back, they were worried about feeding him. So now they don't have to. They can just give it to Eckler and throw it to Keenan Allen and throw it to Mike Williams.
They could be a surprise. I'm not going to say playoffs, but
I just don't like Tyrod Taylor at the helm. I'd much rather have
their win
Herbert.
total's like 7.5. That might be a little high.
I think that's right where it should be.
Yeah, but like it's just like a tick high.
It's like you want to bet on it, but it's like
that's too much.
That's what a good line should do. It should make you look at it and go,
yeah, really. Well, like Patriots and the Bills have the same line.
What is it, 8.5?
I think it's 8.5. If not, the Patriots are 8.5 and the Bills are 9. That might be what it is, but I think they were both 8.5 last time I checked. But like 8.5 is a good number.
Then I would take under 8.5, and then I don't know. 9's kind of weird, but I would take over 9 for the Bills. I would take under for the Patriots, over for the Bills, because it's way more likely for the Patriots to win less than 8 games, and it's way more likely for the Bills to win over 9 games. With the offense that they had last year, winning 10 or 11 games, now this year they only improved. They did not get worse. You can't tell me that they might not win 10 or 11 or 12 again. And then the Patriots only got worse.
Why is their line the same, and why is it only 8.5?
You said it was 9.
Or why is it 9? It's either 8.5.
It's 9 because it's making you think it's like they wouldn't make it 10 or 11.
It should. Why is it not
10.5?
I don't know. Why isn't it?
Lines
10?
are pretty low.
I think they won 10 or 11 last year.
Okay, so if they didn't get worse, why would they not be at 10 again?
Every time I look at an over-under,
they want it to be
with
either
these
8
teams,
or 10. They want it to be either 8 or 10. So like whoever bets the over is like on when it's 8, and then whoever bets
it is
on when it's 10. It's like that's
not likely that you see teams with over-under win totals at 10 or over. Maybe 1 or 2 a year.
There's a couple, yeah.
I mean, the Ravens are probably at 10 or 11.
I think the Ravens were at 11.
Which is high.
The Ravens were at 10.5, and the Chiefs were at 11 the last time I checked.
See, because those are high.
The rest of them are going to be like most of the good teams that you're going to expect to be contenders get put at 9 or 9.5. You rarely see it at 10.
Do you see the Chiefs regressing at all?
No.
You don't? I kind of do.
They're so good.
I don't know. I see them regressing in the beginning of the
Spags.
season.
I hate Steve Spagnuolo. He's just the kryptonite.
I'm sure you do.
He's just the kryptonite for everything I like. Like, I liked the 49ers last year, just shits on them. Like, I love the Patriots, shits on them. Didn't he?
He knows how to write up a Super Bowl defense.
Well, like, he just is an asshole. Like, he just, like, obviously he does his job, but, like, it's always against me. I feel like I'm always watching a football game.
Didn't he go to Springfield College, too?
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I feel like I'm always watching a football game, and the defensive coordinator on the other side is either Wade Phillips or Steve Spagnuolo. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
Wade Phillips is so grumpy.
Dude, he's just like a Texan. He just sits there with his, like...
He's so grumpy. Any old guy named Wade is so grumpy.
Speaking of grumpy... Oh, did we talk about Aaron Rodgers yet?
No, we didn't. Wow. Good thing we didn't miss that.
Good segue, though.
Good catch. Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers.
I fucking hate this pick, and excuse my language.
I hate it, too.
But, like, you went to the NFC title game last year, and you're going to be like, hey, we're going to draft our quarterback for the future. What a fucking slap in the face to Aaron Rodgers.
Like, what are they
thinking? A win away from the Super Bowl. And when was the last time they took an offensive player in the first round?
Aaron Rodgers.
It was Aaron Rodgers.
So
what are you doing?
I am not one to sit here and back up Aaron Rodgers because I don't like Aaron Rodgers the player, and I don't really like Aaron Rodgers the person. However, what they did was bullshit. And I would be pissed if I was him. And
the Packers can fuck off.
They
can go and...
He is pissed.
And if you don't want to train him to be your predecessor, I don't blame you, dude. Because if you don't get any help for your whole career, and then they bring in the student and say, hey, raise him to be your predecessor, fuck you. I would rather leave than do that. And I'm fired up about this because I know how fired up Aaron Rodgers would be about this.
Oh, I'm sure he's punching air right now.
Imagine sitting there and seeing all those receivers in this loaded draft class and being like, hopefully I get one of them. And then you get a quarterback.
Yo, I would love to see his face
as
when
one
he
of
saw the pick come across and it was Jordan Love.
As one of the premier franchises in the NFL, the past 2-3 years, they've really taken a step down.
Oh, yeah.
The only good thing they've had is hiring Matt LaFleur and getting rid of Mike McCarthy.
Even that.
Do we know Matt LaFleur yet?
It was like,
we had 1 year. They went
Matt LaFleur came in and did a great job. He came in and did a really good job.
I can't say anything bad about Matt LaFleur at all, but at the same time, after 1 year, there's been a lot of coaches that had a good first year.
But that was the one thing they did that was okay.
And
but everything else has just
their
been
draft
was
just atrocious. And
atrocious.
Atrocious. And the coach obviously has quite a bit of say in the players that you draft, so...
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
I think
his
that probably came
scouting
from him.
Isn't the best.
A dramatic pick like that had to have come from him.
The only thing is,
he wants
I've
his
heard
guy.
On ESPN, all right, no, I'm not. I can't even say this. This makes me want to throw up. People on ESPN are like, he throws the ball like Mahomes. Like he moves around in the pocket and throws it like Mahomes. Hold on, ready? I have watched 3 Utah State games just by chance, and I saw this dude play. Do you know how many interceptions he threw in 3 games that I saw from him?
Probably like 8.
Fuck.
He threw 3.
You're gonna go back and hear me say that just out of the blue. Us say 8 at the same time.
He threw 3 2 games and 2 1 game, and I was like, and the broadcasters are like, yeah, Jordan Love really having a rough game here, like supposed to be an NFL prospect, like
3
this and that.
separate games.
And I was like, I've seen this dude play multiple times, and he just cannot complete a pass. Like, I don't know what the lure to him was.
Yeah, see, I've only seen his highlights, and that's the kind of the problem with this.
There's some college quarterbacks that you see, and you're just like, I just don't get
it. They need to start making lowlights for these players.
He played BYU on a Saturday night and got his shit rocked. It was their senior night, and they were all hyped up, and they just shit the bed.
That's the worst. So when you go into someone else's senior night, and they end up like coming out and kicking your ass. Mm-hmm. Fuck that. Because then they're like cocky and it's like, oh, we're fired up because our senior night. Like, fuck you.
Yep.
It's embarrassing for the Packers.
There's not much more else to say than it's embarrassing for them.
They deserve to go. Here? If they go 6-10, they deserve it.
Now you have a disgruntled.
Their defense got worse too.
Quarterback
and a quarterback who's not even ready to play yet.
They lost their best defensive player, so don't forget that.
You know what's funny? 2 weeks ago on the podcast, I said the Packers win total was 8.5.
Does it go down?
No, it's still the same, but everyone was like, over. And now it's like...
I mean, last year, Aaron Rodgers did not play.
But how funny is that, like, in the span of 2 weeks? Like, it goes from a slam dunk to, like,
a team I've always kind of liked, too, and now it's
I don't think Aaron Rodgers will play very well if he's disgruntled.
Or that lights a fire under his ass, and then he plays more mad.
Because I don't think he's that kind of guy.
Really?
No, I don't think so at all. He's not that kind of guy. He's the guy to go like whine in the corner and like kind of shrivel up. Like I don't.
So does he go somewhere else?
I mean, like the way you look at it, right? It's like he's aging too. He's getting a little bit. He's like what 30,
he's 36.
36.
The Los Angeles Chargers and Aaron Rodgers.
Perfect.
Back to California.
That'd be perfect.
That would be the story.
That would literally be perfect. But it's like you got to look at it right now. He is the most valuable right now. He's only going to get less valuable as it goes on.
That's a great point.
Because you're 36, right? So say next year, you know, whatever season, they don't do as well as they did last year. And it's like, okay, now you go down. Now no one wants you. Mm-hmm. So if you really think that they're, you know, trying to get you out of there, just leave right now. Because that's the message that they sent. That's what everyone thinks it is. So, like, I don't know. I say leave now.
I agree.
There's plenty of places that need a quarterback.
Oh, my God. Oh, they drafted Herbert. If they didn't draft Herbert, like, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is leaving tomorrow, but like if Aaron Rodgers became available, like the Chargers should.
I'd get Tyrod out of there.
Oh, 100%.
And put Aaron in there and have Herbert learn behind Aaron. Mm-hmm. I think he'd
Does he want to do that though?
He'd be much more willing to teach Herbert in an environment where he went into and he chose, because they could make it a part of the deal. They could be like, yeah, we want you as our quarterback, but you gotta step in and really teach this kid. When you're gone, then we have him. That would be a very big power move if the Chargers could pull that off.
I would love to see that.
That would be
because he went to school
that would be exactly what the Chargers needed to take over LA and be LA's team again.
He went to Cal. He grew up in California his whole life. Like that would be perfect.
He's a California boy. He's a Bay boy. It's like I don't know how we're not working for the NFL right now, working for front offices,
creating the storylines.
Like this needs to happen.
Hire us, NFL. Goodell, if
Get Tyrod out of there. Literally just cut
I think,
him.
You know, me talking Tom to the Buccaneers for, 6 months before that, I think that says a lot.
So that picture fuck that. We're going to make this happen. So you got to say it. Say it.
Rodgers to the Chargers. Hashtag Rodgers to the Chargers.
I got to feel it in my gut, bro. I just don't.
All right. We're not going to force it. We can't force it with him, but I'm going to say it because I want it to happen. Speak it into existence. That's how we do it.
I would love to see it.
Buccaneers, did you really want to sign Tom before I said anything?
I would give you credit forever for that.
Aaron Rodgers and the Nice Powder Blues. Come on.
That looked good.
Come on. Oh. Throwing a Mike Williams. Throwing a Keenan Allen. Give me all that. I love the Chargers. Give me all of that.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Give me all of that. Why would the Packers do that?
Because they're stupid.
Yeah.
They already knew what a diva he was. They knew exactly, because like here's the thing, we just think they're stupid, and like they're like, wow, they really weren't thinking with that one. But I bet they were thinking with that one. I bet they had that pick loaded up for weeks. And it's like, come on, you knew exactly how Aaron Rodgers.
They knew no one else was gonna want a piece of that guy.
Well,
it's not a
why are they
case of
trading
like
up to get him then?
it's not a case of like, okay, if we can't have him, nobody can, sort of thing. It's like, no, that was not an impulse thing.
I can't believe them.
You knew what that would do to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is like, he's out at a bar somewhere, like having a drinking problem now because he's like, wow, my job is gone.
Aaron's the kind of guy that, if he goes, he's going to try and, I bet he'd try and stay in the division just to shit on the Packers.
Go to the Bears.
Yeah, go to the Bears. A team that's got a defense.
He could do that too. He could do that.
I like that too.
Get Mitch out of there.
Or he could say,
throw Mitch out.
Or you could say,
get Mitch out of
cut
the
him.
Hey,
game.
Minnesota, would you rather have me or Kirk Cousins?
Hold on. Fun
Make
fact.
your decision.
Fun fact, Mitchell Trubisky only played 1 year of college football and then got drafted second overall.
Yeah, that's weird. That was a horrible quarterback
Was it North
class.
Carolina?
Never
Yeah.
mind. That was not a horrible
That was
quarterback
North
class.
Carolina, right?
But like going into
And
it,
he got picked over Pat Mahomes.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Deshaun Watson. After Deshaun Watson just
I can't
beat
believe I
Alabama.
just said what I just said. But going into that class, people
Like, bro,
people weren't big on the quarterbacks.
And they traded up one spot to get him too. They were at 3 and they traded up to 2 to take Mitchell Trubisky. Yikes.
What was the team in the first round that like traded up from 14 to 15 and like took some linebacker
This year?
This year.
Wasn't it? No. The Bucks traded with the 49ers.
So that the offensive line.
14-13.
Yeah, they traded up one. It's like, did you really think the Niners were gonna?
I don't know.
Oh, they weren't. Like in any way, the Niners weren't. But like I think they really just want to make sure, like, hey, we need this guy.
I mean, I guess.
Well, he fell that far.
Was it literally just like a spot for a spot? Did they give up anything else? I don't even know.
Oh no! They gave up like probably a 6th or.
It's like you didn't have to do that.
But they did it.
They did. I guess so. They really needed that guy. What was his name?
Tristan Wirfs.
Tristan.
He was projected
Iowa.
to go as the top offensive lineman in the draft. So they probably saw him there and were like, yeah, we want to make sure we get him.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure Tom's got some pretty good pass protection down here.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Protecting Tom. That's the one thing they needed to do, was to get like really solid offensive linemen, really big boys to defend Tom Brady.
The wall.
And I think I was like,
Gronk's
if
gonna
they
help with
come
that,
out
too.
and draft offensive linemen, I was like, this is over. The Buccaneers are like the team
They
to
did.
beat.
They drafted offensive line and they drafted defense. That's what they needed to do.
But like how? Okay, say it comes out and like, okay, it's not really a surprise. The Ravens are really good. They're contenders again. The Niners come out and are really good again. They're contenders. Packers are really good again. Say Aaron Rodgers, they get over it. Aaron Rodgers, they have the decent terrible year that they had last year for some reason. The Seahawks come out and are really good. It's like, do the Buccaneers have what it takes to beat those guys?
Yeah.
there is a 7th playoff spot. So.
I think they definitely could beat the Packers or the Seahawks. I think the 49ers versus Bucks would be such a good game. Imagine that being the NFC Championship game. Garoppolo versus Brady.
I'm going to come out and say it right now. The Buccaneers are the best team in the NFC.
On paper, yeah.
I think that'll prove true during the season.
I think because,
I think you can take any Tampa Bay prop and go over, like wins.
I think the only team that's
division.
even close to them is the Niners in terms of roster.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, Sal's not going to like this, but in terms of roster, New Orleans, I would say, is very close to them.
Antonio, I'm not disrespecting the roster at all. I think New Orleans has a great roster.
Yeah.
I just don't feel it this year for them. It's a
Yeah,
gut thing.
that's a feeling thing.
Yes,
man.
no,
That's a
we're
gut
good
thing,
with
but-
that. I've had plenty of feeling things.
I just don't think the Saints are good this year.
But yeah, that's when you think of rosters in the NFC. Right now, I'm thinking of Saints and Tampa Bay, and that's awesome.
Yeah. It's exactly what we wanted.
NFC East, throw that out too. By the way, throw them out.
No,
Yeah, it's just teams like
The
they're like, hey,
Redskins
do you want to go
versus
8-8 or
the
do you want to go
Giants.
8-8?
I mean, they got Chase Young. What is that going to really do
That's
for them?
that's gonna be a problem. But Dwayne Haskins is still the quarterback, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, don't really have to worry about too much there.
Do you think they should have taken a quarterback? I know we talked
Nope.
about this. You don't think so?
No, Chase Young was there.
Tua is a reach at 2 right there, and Chase Young was the best player in the draft. So getting him at 2 is
That's such a Ron Rivera thing to do.
That dude's a freak. Anyone would have taken him at number 2.
mm-hmm.
Ron Rivera.
Roll Ron. Riverboat.
I think they might surprise some people.
They could have a good defense.
I feel like every team could be good this year. Like this is like
yeah.
No,
That's fun.
You said the Saints, and I can get behind that, even though I don't fully think it'll be true, but I can see where you're coming from.
If the Saints fall flat on their face too and suck, Panthers. They come out of nowhere.
Let me really run through the NFC really quick. Cowboys could be really good, honestly. Like Giants, like
they could be a playoff team.
It's not out of the question. Eagles probably win the division. Like okay, Redskins.
They could have a good defense.
They could go 7 or 9 or 8 and 8. Like,
they're going to have a good defense. Their offense is going to blow, but their defense is going to play well.
Bears could be good. Packers like were good last year. Vikings good. Lions, all right. Yeah, I'll give you the Lions.
Sometimes they go 9-7, and sometimes 9-7 is enough to make the playoffs. So
Buccaneers, yes. Saints, yes. Falcons, not even that bad. Like the Falcons aren't even that bad.
You got the potential of Julio and Todd Gurley on an offense. You reach even 80% of that potential, they're going to score a lot of points.
Panthers,
they got Devontae Freeman out of there finally.
Panthers, meh, but like okay. Cardinals.
I'm a big Teddy Bridgewater fan.
I like Teddy too. All right, so they could be good. Cardinals, they have a lot of upside, especially with DeAndre Hopkins. San Francisco,
they're going to be good.
Seattle,
they're going to be good.
The Rams, not great, but like, okay, but
that's the only one where I'm like, they're going to be bad.
How many teams?
Really?
How many?
You think they're going to suck?
Out of 16, oh yeah, and they'll go like 6-10. Out of 16 teams that I just named, how many of them are probably going to be really good? 12, 13, like
yeah. It's just it sucks because like once the season starts and we see how this unfolds, we're going to be disappointed by a lot of them.
Who is it going to be though? That's like the intriguing part.
I mean, like you got to really just look at it realistically.
Disappoint the hell out of you.
Panthers could completely suck. Panthers completely. Rams completely. Bears completely because they have and probably will. Like you got to look at it realistically.
Saints.
You say the Saints.
The Aints.
Right? But like the past few years they have been really good. So it's like you got to look at it like who do you think, looking from past years, who could really suck? And it's like you look at the Redskins. There's no expectations.
I think the Eagles have a chance to have a horrible year, and if they do,
even
Doug
the Eagles.
Peterson's getting fired.
Ooh, I like that.
Eagles go 4-12. Doug Peterson gets fired.
I mean, like I can see a situation where everything goes wrong for the Eagles next year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they didn't go all wrong this year. I really don't.
Your boy,
what?
Carson, he held the team together.
Yeah. Played 4 snaps in the playoff game. Like, yeah, really good job, Carson.
Just can't finish the season.
He is what we don't want Lamar Jackson to be. Bad in the playoffs. Yeah, he didn't even get a shot.
We don't even know if he's good or bad.
That was his first playoff game.
It's literally
like 4
You
snaps.
know what Carson Wentz is? Here's door number 2. Like, do you want it or not? Like,
and you open it and it's a zonk. And it's like, it's like no. It's like, here we have this 12-carat diamond ring, and and then you look and you're like, but do you want door number 2? And the Eagles are like, we want door number 2.
And then it's a zonk.
Ugh. It's like, come on.
Hate to see it.
Like, here we have this $100,000 Ferrari. Do you want this or do you want door number 2?
How good is door number 2 though? You look at door number 2, you're like, it could be anything.
You're like, it could even be a boat. The box could be anything. There could even be a boat in here. It's like, come on.
Good old Family Guy.
But it's like, yeah. Now what they came out and said with what they're gonna do with Jalen Hurts, I have no faith in what the Eagles, because they're just gonna try to do what the Ravens did, except do it way worse. With a way worse roster.
It's going to be interesting.
Because you got to think, right? They have no receiving core. They have an defense. All they have is Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts.
Miles Sanders.
If the Giants have good coaching and good offensive line play, they're going to be better than the Eagles.
Say that again?
Wait, what?
If the Giants have good coaching and good offensive line play, they're going to be better than the Eagles.
I could see that. Do I think the Giants are going to be good? No. But
I like the way Joe Judge, so far what I'm seeing from him. He seems Pat Shurmur was a fucking joke. So anything's
Do I think they're going to
be better than the Eagles? Your last 2 coaches have been a joke.
I think the Giants are better.
One of them did have a winning season though.
Like, put this on the hot take list right now. The Giants will be better than the Eagles this year.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Will they be better than the Cowboys? No. I think the Cowboys win out on that front, but like.
Hot take number 2. Each of us do a hot take right now. Chicago Bears win the NFC
Oh, God.
North. That is my hot take.
It's hard to come up with hot takes. Nolan, go ahead.
We're so far away.
You already did.
I already did. I said the Giants
better record than the Eagles.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of said it like not too long ago. Eagles 4-12 or 5-11. Doug Peterson gets fired.
Okay.
What other hot takes do we have? I like this. Well, you said the Saints.
I said the Patriots are going to be better than the Bills.
Patriots are going to be better than Bills.
The Los Angeles Chargers will be a playoff team.
Okay, that's a really hot one. that might be the hottest one.
Sizzling.
Sizzling.
I like that.
I don't think so, but I mean anything can happen.
And in the year 2020
San
and
Francisco
2021,
goes 6-10.
Listen, 20. Wait, what did you say?
I like that one too.
What did you say?
49ers go
49ers
6-10.
fall off.
Maybe post Super Bowl.
Garoppolo gets hurt.
Teams after the Super Bowl
Garoppolo
always do
sucks.
so bad. That lose the Super Bowl, they always do bad.
I mean,
Garoppolo throws 20 picks next year. I'm not going to be shocked. And then they run him out of there. I could see it. Nolan's buffering.
I am buffering. So I was thinking about, did the Seahawks do bad after they lost to the Patriots?
No.
They went back to the Super Bowl, didn't they?
No.
Who did the Broncos play in the Super Bowl?
They lost to Carolina, and they got boat raced.
The
by
Seahawks
Carolina.
were, I believe, were they a wild card team that year or no? I forget who won that division.
Yeah, they were because they went on the.
Oh, the Cardinals went 13-3 that year. That's right. So Seahawks were a wild card team. They played.
They played Carolina.
Was that with Carson Palmer?
Yes. Carson Palmer had a great year that year.
Outstanding. They were really good that year.
His one really good year.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Palmer kind of reminds me of Jay Cutler.
Really?
I think he's better than Jay Cutler.
He was better than Jay.
Jay Cutler wasn't
Cutler
that
had a
bad in the
couple years.
beginning.
Jay Cutler had a couple of years.
He had a couple years where you're like,
Palmer
okay.
Palmer had some good years in the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you look at it, you're like, okay. And then like you just it went off the deep end and you're like, okay, whatever. Did you see that thing where he helped God, I'm so bad with names. The wide receiver from the Bears when Jay Cutler was there.
Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marshall, did you see that story where he was like caught in Vegas? Like he needed like $60K and he called Jay Cutler and Jay Cutler bailed him out.
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
Uh-uh.
Man, he was like, I guess he was like really like, he was like, he lost like, I think he said 170,000 and he was like chasing.
Brandon Marshall did.
Brandon Marshall did. And he like needed $60K and he called Jay Cutler.
And Jay Cutler just gave it to him.
And he's like, yeah, but we're going to write this down and you got to sign it because you owe me.
You know what? You know what's funny? Then Brandon Marshall will like go on shows and be like, "Yeah, Jay Cutler sucked."
Well, this was like recent. This was like.
Oh, seriously?
Like he went. I think he has his own like show or podcast somewhere.
Brandon Marshall's a funny dude.
Yeah, he's a character. But I just thought you would enjoy that.
No, that's funny.
That's so funny.
But imagine just calling up your boy and be like, "Hey, dude, I'm down $60,000. You think you can send that my way?" Like.
So last thing I want to talk about before we end this. The Last Dance.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
It's on ESPN, and obviously it's on ESPN, but it's on ESPN the app, and it has them like you can just go back and watch them. And I'm probably now that I'm like 2 episodes
you're just
behind,
gonna wait.
I'll probably just wait and watch them all at one time. But
You're
like
4 episodes behind.
Oh,
They've been showing two each.
2-part episodes,
And there's only 10 episodes, so we're like halfway through almost.
It's great. It keeps getting better every episode too.
I bet.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is incredible.
Anytime I go on Twitter on Sunday night, that's all everyone's talking about with good reason. But
I hope they
I'm
get
not
into
gonna
his
say anything
gambling
about
stuff.
It, but the Dennis Rodman shit was good.
Yeah,
That
I hope
episode's
they
great.
get into MJ's gambling stuff, like with the golf and everything.
I'm sure they will.
So there's a lot of conspiracy theories that say the year that he was out was because of gambling, and like there was some sort of.
I hope that they go through that.
I don't think they'll say that on ESPN, but there is a conspiracy theory that he got kicked out of the league for a year because of his gambling. And if they say that,
I mean, a lot of stuff has come out in this documentary that I didn't think would. So, like, I don't know.
You
That's
know
why
who-
a lot of people are hyping it. They're like, I hope they get it.
You know Bill Simmons?
Yeah.
He is like, yeah, and like he's very connected to the NBA, and he on his not like he says a lot, but when he talks about MJ, he'll be like, yeah, he got kicked out of the league because of gambling. And like Bill Simmons is a guy I trust listening, and like I know he's not just saying like bullshit stuff. Like if he's saying that, I tend to believe him.
I think it's like, yeah, it's good for the people who like saw MJ play and are very nostalgic people, but I think it's good for me because I never got to see any of these games. Like you can obviously look at highlights, but when you put it into a well-produced, well-written documentary
with his teammates,
dudes you played against, like you show everything that went down.
That's what everyone's saying too. Is it's very well produced.
It really puts you in
Netflix
that era
and
of basketball.
ESPN do a really good job. That's why I thought that it would be on Netflix, but I guess they're probably just gonna wait till it's aired completely, and then they'll probably put it on Netflix. But
one more hot take: we don't see basketball back.
You don't see basketball back. Today I saw a story. They were looking into Disney World.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did see that.
Oh, that would be perfect because Disney World's not opening for a while.
Yeah.
All right. I like that.
I also saw another thing that the NHL said that June 1st they're looking to come back and try and resume the season.
I would love that.
Manfred also said that he believes there's going to be baseball this year.
Yeah, late summer.
So baseball is the perfect game for social distancing. You're all spread apart. You can have an empty ballpark.
Yeah, they're not going to play in front of fans.
Someone with your glove.
And it's always kind of been like, no, I lied. Never mind. I was going to say it's always kind of been like a TV game, but it's really like you have to be there.
No, it's not.
It's like the complete opposite. Football is a TV game.
Depends on who you are.
Football, like you're there and it's good, but like football on TV is so much better.
Because most of the time it's like it's in freaking November, December, and it's like it's so freaking cold outside, and it's like you'd much rather be inside watching it.
That's true, but I would love to go to a blizzard game.
We would like to go,
That'd
but
be
you don't
so
have
cool.
to. You don't like. There's nothing saying like, oh, but like if you're like, it's mid-May, early June. I want to go to the ballpark and watch the Red Sox or watch the Yankees play.
Also, it's football tickets are 10 times more expensive than baseball tickets. You can say, hey, you want to go to the Sox game?
Sports tickets are pretty expensive.
That's true, but you can baseball. It's like.
Baseball
you can say you want to go to the Sox game Friday.
Sure.
Yeah, the baseball
Yankees
is definitely the
bleacher
cheapest.
seats are like $8, dude.
Yeah, baseball definitely has the cheapest tickets.
I definitely think we see baseball back. Basketball, I'm not as confident.
I think, man,
I'm hoping. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer either, but I'm
I
hoping.
need basketball back, but it's probably not going to happen.
I need sports back so badly. Do you like?
Can
we at least get golf soon?
So bad.
Like even that.
Like seriously, like golf. Really, we're not play golf. Like we're really not gonna play.
I get it a month ago when it was really bad. I get it a month ago when it was bad.
Just have them in golf carts.
Now we can definitely have golf back.
That infuriates me. Tennis? You're telling me we can't play a tennis match with no fans?
They canceled Wimbledon.
Did they?
I hope not.
That's not for a little bit, isn't it?
It's in July, but they canceled the Euros.
I don't know if they canceled it. I do remember.
How do you cancel the Euros, dude? Like,
every time I think about it, I want to cry.
That was so stupid.
I watched just a random soccer's 30 for 30 short on ESPN Plus the other day, and I'm like, why am I doing this to myself?
Did you see the governor of North Carolina deemed NASCAR essential business?
Yeah, I saw
and they're
that.
gonna have the Coca-Cola 600, whatever it is, that's in North Carolina.
You know why it's essential?
That money, baby, brings in a lot of money.
Someone probably stepped in and said, "Hey, let us run this."
I bet they'll let the fans in there too.
Yeah, and then
they're insane.
Their buddies in South Carolina are gonna be like, "Hey, Darlington 500."
I mean, places are opening up. Places are opening up down south.
Get ready for the second wave.
Yeah, I mean,
wintertime.
The problem is, like, I think you just got to ease into it.
People just want to go balls to the wall.
And I think if NHL comes out, right, like, say, like, late May, they come out and say, okay, we're going to resume the season here. We're going to start with the playoffs. We're going to resume it this day.
If baseball one person gets coronavirus, that ruins it for the whole sport.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, that's what happened with Rudy Gobert.
So it could be, all right, like, you have to have them sequestered, not talking to anyone, not going outside, not doing anything. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. If basketball comes back, they're going to make them play with... How would they not make them play with face masks if you got to wear face masks in public?
I'm not watching an NBA game where they're wearing face masks.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't want to play an NBA game if I had to wear a face mask.
I wouldn't either. If you have to wear...
I think that was just for, like, the initial when they start practicing again. I don't think that that's going to be their plan if they start the season back up. I think that I know, like, it's, like, slim, but, like, I think they're very determined on, like, resuming the season. Just start with the playoffs.
I mean, like, yeah, you're the biggest franchise in the league. The most widely known around the world is the best team in the league right now. Why would you not want?
Here's what I'm going to say. If we restart the NBA season 2 and a team like the Rockets wins it, how much of an asterisk is that going to put on it? Everyone's going to be like, Dude, it didn't even count. Like, we were off for 3 months. Like,
you think about it, like, I think it makes it way more competitive if they have this amount of rest and they come back.
But you're not at your best, and people are.
But you're gonna have at least 2 or 3 weeks to really train and get ready.
Do you know how much LeBron?
But still,
if he
it's
loses
not
in a 7-game series,
game
is gonna
time.
Bitch about how he didn't have the time to ramp up.
LeBron was bitching about about letting them play without fans. Like,
LeBron
it didn't even seem like he wanted to
everything.
play anyway. I was like, dude, make up your fucking mind. You're number 1 in the freaking league. Why would you not want to come back and play?
He loves complaining.
Yeah, he loves complaining. So would I be surprised if he came and bitched out about him losing? No, I don't think so. Would it be? It'd be LeBron typical for him to do that. For him to come out and bitch and be like, "Well, they should have been more careful and like pushed it back more, and maybe have canceled the season." Even though before, like, he was like, "Oh no, we need to play," and then he was like, "Oh wait, kind of don't want to play." Like, he's a contradicting, whiny little bitch.
Seriously.
But I think what I was saying before, if the NHL, baseball, and they come out and say, like, okay, we're resuming, I don't think the NBA would just be like, no. I think that they would try to make a very conscious effort to come back.
I hope they do. For God's sakes, I hope they do. I'm being realistic, and I haven't seen a sporting event on my TV in almost, 2 months?
Something that wasn't brand new.
So... Oh yeah, true.
Brand new.
I should say I have not seen a live sporting event on my TV in 2 months, and it is infuriating. And I'd love to see it back, but nothing will have changed in a month, and I don't see how they're going to do it. But if they find a way to do it, all the power to them, and I will certainly watch.
Because you can't just skip it. You think about the NBA and NHL were wrapping up. They were ready to go fight for the death for their championship, and it's like you can't just skip that and move on to the next season. That is so dumb for them to do that.
I know.
And I don't want my team to win that way. I don't want the Bruins to get the cup just because they canceled it because of a pandemic.
It'd be stupid.
I don't want that. And I don't want them to just move on.
No, I 100% agree with you. I want them to come back. I just feel like they're not going to for some reason.
And I was talking with Andrew about this today, or Robert. If they come back, like, say, I'm just saying the NHL, but if they come back and they start playing and say, because if they started playing like second or third week in June, they kicked off the playoffs. It would probably go to like first or second week of September. Then normally the season starts.
You're cutting into the next season.
You're gonna come clear. Holy shit! Come dangerously close to clipping into the next season. So then, what do? Number one, this is probably a very unlikely scenario. They just go right through to the next season. They just start, because you got to think half the teams are going to be continuously resting if you start with the playoffs. The teams are going to be fairly well rested. Like, it'll obviously going through all those games, and the last 2 teams are going to be the ones that are more tired than everyone else. But you just go right through. I mean, that would be pretty sick. Or you keep it that way and you take a normal off season and then you just play during this time. Because you think about it, only baseball is on in the late summer. Mm-hmm. It's just baseball. NHL has been looking for a way to like market and be.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
This would be their breakthrough. This would be their breakthrough. They wouldn't have to compete with NBA or football anymore, because football is cracking when NHL and NBA come in.
Oh yeah.
Like NBA, and then say NBA just cancels their season and starts out normal. Then you have NHL in its own, because everyone is sick. I'm sorry, Antonio. Everyone's fucking sick of watching baseball on TV. Like, during the regular season, it's not getting the ratings.
If you give me a fucking baseball game right now, I will watch all 9 innings.
Okay, yes, right now, yes, because we're fiending for it. But I'm saying, like, during the regular season, like, no one really watches it like they do the playoffs. Same with NHL, but that's just because they compete with NBA all season, and for half their season they're competing with NFL. So you look at it and you say, okay, well, during this 3-month period where just baseball is on, I'd rather have them go up with the MLB than NBA and NFL.
Yep.
So I think that would be, I mean, they got to hire me if that's what they end up doing. They got to hire me. They got to hire me. I'll work for the NHL. I'll make your decisions for you. I'll fix those shitty rules that you have about replaying offsides too.
Call them up.
Call them up. All right.
Drop the mic. That's all you have to say after that. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening. Bye.